Henry Cejudo versus Dominick Cruz, the co-main event, bantamweight title, and Henry Cejudo TKOs Dominick Cruz in the second round. He hits him with a knee, then he follows up with ground and pound, and it kind of looks like an early stoppage. And I think we can start there. You know, did you think that was an early stoppage by the referee?
So, I think it could have. I don't think it was early, but I don't think it was late, and I can't judge if it was on point. It could have went any way. Dominic made a good point. He did eat a lot of strikes. I think it could have went a bit longer just because of the circumstance.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was early when I was watching it live. So the first time I was watching, I was like, "Oh no, you know, it's a bit early." Then when I watched the slow motion, you know, watch the replays over and over again. I think it was a good stoppage. I think it was a good stoppage. Dominic was really hurt. You know, he was getting back to his feet to a certain extent, but I think it was kind of one of those like, get back to your feet for just 1 second and then eat another big shot. Because now you're on your feet and now you can eat like a left hook or something and just get knocked out on cold. I don't know. I can't hate the referee.
Yeah.
And Dominic, I mean, ripped the referee afterwards, saying he smelled like alcohol and cigarettes. He's a good ref, Keith Peterson. No nonsense. He's a good referee. I like this referee. I've seen him ref a lot of times, and honestly, I've always enjoyed the way he ref fights. I mean, he's really good. He's always on point. He doesn't let things slide. He doesn't get pressured by the crowd or by the fighter or something like that. You know, he knows the rules so well. His stoppages are so good. I mean, I've seen him save a lot of guys from a lot of damage. He recognizes, you know. Having said that, people can make mistakes, but I don't think this was a mistake that he did. So I don't know why Dominick Cruz is ripped. I mean, he said he smelled like alcohol and cigarettes. I don't think Dominick Cruz would be lying, you know. I mean, it's Dominick Cruz. Like he's not known to be like that, you know. You've seen him take big losses before, and he's so respectful about it, you know. I mean, remember everybody was admiring him when he lost to Cody. About how well he took that loss and everything. He got so much respect because of that. So I don't imagine Dominick Cruz to be coming out and just purely lying, like, oh, the ref smelled like cigarettes and alcohol.
Yeah, so, well, you know, he could have. I mean, it was a big fight for him. He hasn't fought in...
Since Cody.
Yeah, like, 2016?
Been a couple of years.
Yeah, so...
Been a couple...
So maybe, you know, I'm sure his emotions were flying high. So I think there is a possibility because it was a big fight for him, you know, and especially with the fact that he feels he was like he was getting up, and just his feelings towards the stoppage. I think, you know, maybe it's just an insult, you know, maybe not a lie. You know, not a truth, but just an insult. You know, it's the fight game.
Yeah, so, maybe. I don't know. You're right. I mean, emotions run high, you know. Like I said, it's been a long time. And it means a lot to him. He's probably not going to get another title shot. I mean, it's, you know. But looking at the fight, Henry Cejudo looked so good. He looked so good, man. Like, they both looked really good. It was a good fight. 2 rounds, but it was a good fight.
Yeah.
And Henry Cejudo came in with those leg kicks.
Yeah.
Which is, great. You know, they were so good. There's perfect game plan, exactly. Dominick Cruz's biggest weapon is his footwork, and he was just taking that out right off the start. And then he wins, and then he retires. And you know, when I was watching him retire, I was like, this is the fakest retirement I've ever seen in my life. I was like, what are you doing? Like, come on. Like, okay, yeah, sure, you're retiring. All right. But then I was like, oh, he's actually retiring? Like, I don't, like, you know, the post-fight press conference and stuff like that. Do you think he's actually willing to retire? Because obviously, he's trying to get more money.
Yeah, of course.
But I don't think that's the whole story. I think he is actually willing to retire if he doesn't get the money that he feels like he deserves.
Yeah.
But that's what I want to ask you. Do you think he will actually retire if he doesn't get that money, or is it just a negotiation tactic 100%? You know.
I think I think he will. I think he. I mean, he's built up a great resume, and he has said that he wants to finish on top. And I think, like, if he's gonna fight again, if it's not gonna be a huge fight, I think in his mind it's like, what's the point of risking my resume, risking all of that, unless it's something that's really worth it? Because he's talking about going into investment. I don't know. He seems really excited to have a girlfriend now, and so he said that a couple of times. Yeah, I have a girlfriend now.
I don't know.
So
who was his girlfriend anyway?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Did anyone know that he had a girlfriend?
I don't know.
He's talking about marriage and having a kid already. Yeah. I mean, you know.
Yeah. It's just his presentation. Like, you know, he brought himself. Like, he's like, you know.
I personally think the whole investment stuff and the girlfriend stuff, maybe not the girlfriend, I mean, you know, but I think that was just trying to sell himself. Like, oh, really? Yeah, I am down with fighting. I want to move on to the next chapter of my life. You know.
Yeah.
Because people are gonna ask him like, well, what are you gonna do? You know, well, he's telling them what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
He retires. Yeah. But Henry Cejudo, man.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Henry Cejudo is a really special athlete, and a lot of people, you know, cringe and this and that. I like the dude, man. I really like him. I mean, the guy came up from really humble beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his parents were immigrants. They had nothing. You know, he grew up with nothing. You know, like he was living on a trailer park.
Mm-hmm.
You know, broke kid, goes to, you know, does wrestling, becomes an Olympian, and gets gold. You know, in the Olympics, and then he gets into MMA, and becomes a double champion. And then this is the new thing, you know, I think in MMA, which is him and DC are the only double champions that defended their titles in both divisions. Right? So that's like the next level, you know. Everybody felt like, oh, 3 titles is the next thing. And it kind of is the next thing as well, but I think this is the new thing for now, which is like getting defenses into different weight divisions. And only him and Daniel Cormier have that. So just imagine that, you know, like he has so many accomplishments. He really is a special athlete, and all the stuff he does, all this like cringe stuff, it's just a show. It's just a show.
Absolutely.
He's actually a really good guy.
Yeah.
He's a really nice guy.
I mean, he will always, even like I said, his presentation, even after like talking about anything else he's doing, he still will, and I say this with all the love, he will remain the king of cringe. I say that with all the love. But after everything was said and done, at the press conference, when he was talking about his opponents and everyone in all the divisions that he's fought, you could really see that he is actually a really good guy. That, you know, everything that he does do, all that cringe and whatnot, is part of the game. It's part of his game plan to bring up his value. And but he actually he loves the sport. He cares about the fighters. He cares about the sport, and you know, he just really seemed, you could see the humbleness after when the dust settled. You know. So.
Yeah. I'm happy for him. You know, I hope he gets what he wants. But unfortunately, you know, I think he's playing a dangerous game with the UFC, because the UFC doesn't like to play that game. You know, you tell them I'm going to retire, unless you give me more money, and you put them on blast like that. You don't, you know, you just come out and tell the people, you know, the fans and the UFC at the same time. You know, you don't let the UFC know beforehand so they can like fix something up. But you know, I don't know who's next for the Henry Cejudo if he does stick around. What's a big fight for Henry Cejudo if he does stick around? You know, like Aldo. Yeah, you know, but it's not the Aldo of before. You know, it's not like, oh, Aldo, the dangerous killer. You know, obviously he's a really good fighter, and me and you would watch the fights. You know, but are millions of people in the mainstream like gonna tune in to watch that fight? I don't think so. You know, Peter Yan. Yeah, again, dangerous fight. Yeah, but like, it's hardcores, you know. That's the people that are gonna watch those fights.
Yeah.
You know, you did the other stuff, like you did the TJ Dillashaw, you know, you did the Dominick Cruz. I mean, Cody Garbrandt, if he wasn't on like 3-4 fight losing streak, would be a good fight.
Yeah.
It's just a difficult situation. I think that's I think Henry Cejudo's looking at that and saying, is it even worth it? You know, like, do I want to come like? So, interesting situation. Interesting situation. I hope he gets what he wants, but I don't think he does. I don't think he gets what he wants. And I don't know. I think he will come back for one more fight. I think he will come back for one more fight. And it's just gonna, I think one more fight from Cejudo, and then that's it. But we're definitely not gonna see him fight more than once again. No chance. And he might just retire now as well.
Yeah. Well, like you said, like he looked absolutely great. I think he's 33.
His striking is really underrated, man.
Yeah.
His striking is really underrated.
Yeah.
He's got the whole karate like stance as well. You know, his wide stance with his hands open like this, and he's really impressive athlete. He's a really good fighter.